Good evening, everyone. When you went to the registration desk, you saw all these pictures of distinguished speakers. This is the last one, and it will be totally different from the rest of the crowd, because every single one was different. Stephen Smith was on the North Pole, Dr. Farmer was on the South Pole, and Hightower is in the middle. But now you're going to listen to someone who is incredibly talented, and I'm not going to steal the thunder, but he'll tell his story. I can tell you, particularly for students, the environment and the opportunity and the struggle that he went through and where he is today, that tells you that if he could do it, any one of you should be able to do it, because you have this support network which he did not have. And he, without any opportunity, he went to a top medical school in the country. He came from outside the country, and he became a cardiologist, he became an entrepreneur, and he became a philanthropist, which means he made his money and he's giving it back. So if you want to help others, first you have to help yourself get established. Only then you can help others. Right? When my son was in high school, he told me that I want to help. And I told him, if tomorrow if I say you don't live here, then you can't even help yourself. So get established, then you can help everybody. Same story, same suggestions to all the students. Get established, you can help anybody you want. So this gentleman who is here, going to be our speaker in a minute, he created the most profitable bank in Georgia, sold at the bank for $800 million to BlackRock, and he owns most of it, almost all of it. So that tells you the kind of success that he's earned. So I'm not going any further because I leave everything for him to tell you. So his bio is in the book, on your table, feel free to read. So let's give a big round of applause, Dr. Narasimhaulu Nilagari.
Good evening to all. I had a wonderful 3 days. Every minute was inspiring. It was such a fun to be here and learn a lot. I will tell a bit of myself, what I did, and some advice to the students. College is a magical chapter of your life where the world opens up before you, no longer under the watchful eye of your parents. You eagerly step into independence to discover yourself and the world on your own terms. I'm sure most of you can relate to the feeling of walking on a tightrope between freedom and responsibility. Asking yourself questions like, will I overcome social barriers? Will I meet the right people? And what will my career path look like? What if I told you that the answers you seek, the keys to unlocking your future, are already within you, waiting to be discovered? Interestingly, one of the many things that we have in common is that our origin stories are told in the language of resilience. My purpose today is to share with you 3 powerful principles that will help you successfully navigate the unknown and uncover answers that will empower you to boldly pursue your future. I want to take a moment to acknowledge the esteemed presidents, chancellors, deans, and professors who are among us. Your influence on these young minds will have a profound impact on their lives. I also extend my heartfelt gratitude to CEO Muhammad Bian and Chairman General Larry Ellis for inviting me here today. It is truly an honor to stand with the brightest and the most ambitious students of historically black colleges and universities. To our students, our future leaders, innovators, and change makers of our nation, I fully understand that your pursuit of education often means managing limited resources, underfunded institutions, and navigating systemic barriers noted in historical inequalities. So, the first of the 3 principles I want to share with you is how to overcome systemic barriers. I faced many difficulties personally in my early years. I was born at home, delivered by a completely blind midwife who relied on sound and touch to feel her way through the delivery process. That's all my parents could afford. I had my elementary school education in a small village of about 150 people with no roads getting in or getting out. Only had to go through the bullock carts. And my classroom was a one-room institution, where one teacher taught all 5 grades. And to make things worse, we did not have chalkboards, we did not have pens, pencils, or papers. So you might be wondering, so how did we write? About half a mile away, there was a river with plenty of sand. So all the students used to go, pick up the sand in the basket, put on our heads, go to the school. We used to throw it on the floor, sit on the sand, and write our alphabets. The only good thing about that was, if we made a mistake, we just erase it and start all over again. We lived under a rigid caste system that divided and imposed limits on people based on their birth, occupation, or social status. To give you some sense of what that was like, I had an upper caste Brahmin classmate in high school. Whenever I visited his house, I was forbidden to go any further than the foyer. When his mom offered me a cup of coffee, she placed it 10 feet away so that she does not accidentally touch me. And after I finished, I had to leave the cup outside so that their servant can clean it because it was considered contaminated just because I touched it. During my high school years, I had to read under municipal streetlights because the landlord would not provide electricity. I had to sleep on the floor until I finished medical school. I only started sleeping on a bed when I came to this country. Despite those odds, I finished high school, became a merit scholar, and graduated from medical school as the valedictorian of my class. When I eventually moved to America at age 24, I was faced with even more challenges, from cultural and linguistic to racial. When I arrived at the JFK International Airport, the only thing I had was $60 that I borrowed, plenty of hope, and an unshakable belief in the transformative power of education. When I left India, I was determined to leave poverty behind. I came to America with big dreams for success. My lofty goal was to save $10,000. At that time, it was more money than I would have ever imagined. Fortunately, I was in a position to continue pursuing my dream, and I went on to become a cardiologist. After building my practice for a few years, and while practicing cardiology, I founded a community bank here in Georgia. I started with $5 million in assets and grew it to $665 million before it was acquired by Home Trust Bank, which is now listed on the New York Stock Exchange. I shared this with you not to impress you, but instead to impress upon you what is possible when you train your mind to see only one thing: opportunities. Whether it is poverty, prejudice, or doubt, these are all challenges we can surmount. Discipline your mind to see every obstacle as an opportunity. And I promise you that the only thing that can stop you is you. I recently saw a quote from the famous Nobel Prize winning novelist Anatole France: to accomplish great things, we must not only act, but also dream. Not only plan, but also believe. Once you have mastered the mindset of turning obstacles into opportunities, the second principle is to become a lifelong learner. This approach will empower you to grow and continuously adapt to your surroundings. The journey of becoming a lifelong learner is all about developing an unquenchable curiosity. Not to be confused with simply acquiring information. The secret to success is to instantly apply the information you learn to help you evolve both personally and professionally. My parents had very limited formal education. My mother, who was born an orphan, never had a chance to attend school. And my father only reached the 8th grade. However, they were smart enough to make our home an institution that worshipped learning. As a result, education was my passport, a ticket from the poverty-stricken villages of India to the land of dreams in America. Looking back, there has always been one singular force that has fueled my relentless pursuit of knowledge. I quickly share it with you in the hope that you will adapt it, or that it will inspire you to discover your own. This force is initiative. I encourage you to actively pursue knowledge. If you wait for opportunities to come knocking you, you will most likely find yourself standing still, watching as others pass you by. I will never forget this summer. I transitioned from high school to college, and on the last day of the high school, I went to my soon-to-be college professor's house and asked him if he could start working on college math problems. Almost in shock, he looked at me and told me, "Go enjoy your summer," and sent me back home. Later, he admitted that he was impressed with my initiative and he eventually became my mentor. Now, I'm not suggesting that you go that far. What I am suggesting is that you ask other people for help. One of the best and fastest ways to learn is through the experience of others. And it has been my experience that people are willing to help when they know you are sincere. Your job will be bold enough to ask questions, seek answers, and embrace the challenges that come with whatever you find. The third and final principle I will share with you is my favorite and the most impactful of the three: building relationships. The first is to change the way you think about success. When I was your age, I incorrectly thought that success was measured by titles and financial achievements. One of my greatest learnings is that true success is measured by how many quality relationships you build along your way. The second way to eliminate the fear of the unknown and harness your future is to master the art of establishing and maintaining genuine relationships. Here is my simple formula that will help you earn the trust of others and by proxy achieve everything you want in life. First, offer non-transactional help to others. In other words, help other people without expecting anything in return. Next, be honest and have integrity in all your interactions with others. Honesty and integrity are the foundations of trust, which is the basis of every relationship. Finally, make sure your words and deeds are always in alignment. When you do this, people will see you as reliable and they will continue to extend their trust. My secret for establishing and maintaining deep, genuine relationships is transparency and ethical interactions. If you engage people in this way, one day you'll look around and be amazed at the and breadth of the network you have grown. Relationships are more than connections. They are a catalyst for growth and opportunities. An investment in a relationship will always yield the greatest return. I challenge you to see every new relationship as a door to a new opportunity. The more you nurture your relationships, the more you will find opportunities where you least expect. When I reflect on my journey, my personal achievements pale in comparison to the opportunities I have had to give back to my community. I have been a major benefactor to children's art programs in Suwanee, Georgia, built a children's library in Commerce, Georgia, offered scholarships to college students, and also funded nurses' education. These acts were not for recognition. They were expressions of gratitude that I owed back to community and this great country. One day, each of you will have the chance to uplift others, and the choices you make will ultimately define your legacy. Will you be remembered as a collector of material possessions or one who extended generosity of yourself to others? As you go back to the sacred grounds of your respective HBCUs, never forget that you come from a powerful legacy of thinkers, leaders, and giants. Despite diverse backgrounds, whether from small towns or families without college opportunities. Your starting point does not define your destiny. It is your character, resilience, and determination that will shape your future. Thank you, and God bless you.
Please, let's give him another round of applause. I'd like to welcome Dr. Bouillon and General Ellis to the stage for a special awards presentation.
We have a special presentation for our speaker this evening, and the award reads for his outstanding achievement throughout his life. HBCU Entrepreneurship and Innovation, April 16 to the 19, 2026. An award presented to Narasimha Hulu Nilagaru, sponsored by the Leadership Needed Foundation.